Where are we going, sir?
Don't know.
A few weeks ago, I posted a video on A Night of the Seven Kingdoms that got a lot more traction and engagement than I was expecting, mostly negative. I got a lot of shit for calling the show a sitcom, but in my defense, people were saying that after episodes 4 and 5 had come out, and I made the video before I'd even seen episode 3, when it was a very different show. In its first couple of episodes, it was basically a sitcom, and I'll stand by that. It was funny, light, low stakes. The driving force of the series was the comic dynamic between a big, bumbling, inexperienced knight and his smart-ass squire constantly talking back to him. But Ira Parker used that comedic back and forth to humanize these characters and get us invested in their relationship before their story became much bigger and more important.
Impudent little rat. What's happened to your hair?
I cut it off, brother. I didn't want to look like you.
With the bombshell twist that Egg is a Targaryen and the deadly trial of 7 that followed, this seemingly goofy, light-hearted, inconsequential comedy suddenly became a high-stakes drama. And honestly, the show was all the better for it. I loved it as a quirky little sitcom, but it moved me like I never expected when it took a darker, more dramatic turn. Because Parker masterfully built this story from the ground up. He didn't start off with a bunch of noble heroes clashing swords with the corrupt royals. He started off with a low-born hedge knight and his young squire living in the woods, trying to get into a jousting tournament, but then gradually escalated to life-or-death conflicts. It was a fiercely effective storytelling trick. We care more about Dunk than we would some traditional hero because we've seen that he's just a regular guy in way over his head, and he still picks himself up and keeps fighting. He's more Jon McClane than Jon Snow, the guy in the wrong place at the wrong time, doing the right thing because no one else will.
Get up! Get up, Sir Duncan! Get up, sir! Get up!
The series never lost its morbid sense of humor. One of the most devastating sequences in the season is offset by a pig picking at a severed human head, but it used the comedy to draw you in so you'd care about the drama. In episode 5, when the trial began and promptly flashed back to Dunk's childhood, I was initially a bit frustrated. I just wanted to get back to the trial and see how that turned out. Why are you picking now to slam down on the brakes and fill in some backstory? But I quickly got swept up in the flashback storyline. It's like its own little self-contained coming-of-age story, and a fucking bleak one at that. We see young Dunk and his childhood friend Wraith barely scraping by on the margins of society, scavenging battlefields and pickpocketing city watchmen. It's almost like Little Rascals in Westeros, and then it takes an unbelievably dark turn.
No! No! You can't die! Everybody really likes you!
A Night of the Seven Kingdoms made me care more about Wraith in a 10-minute flashback than House of the Dragon did with some of its main characters across 2 whole seasons. Sir Arlen instantly became one of my favourite Game of Thrones heroes the second he came out swinging to avenge Wraith's death. It was so satisfying and poetic to see the twat who slit her throat get his own throat slit.
You're dying, you bastard! Look at me! You're dying! Give me that goddamn thing!
This whole horrifying origin story made Dunk even more sympathetic, and he was already plenty sympathetic. He might not be a legendary hero, but he's seen some shit. Getting his arse handed to him by a couple of Targaryens is nothing. It gives us a key bit of context before we go back to the theatre of combat, and see Dunk try like hell to live up to Arlen's legacy and push back against the bullies of the world. The Trial of 7 turned out to be one of the greatest battle sequences in the entire franchise, even though it's just 7 people versus 7 people, because you care about all 7 of them. Game of Thrones and its subsidiaries have been renowned for their battle scenes since the blockbuster spectacle of the Blackwater episode in Season 2.
Mother! Get down!
Kabow! Boom! 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 Pop! 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 Boom! Get Joey!
Battle of the Bastards was the pinnacle of that cinematic approach to television, using a gritty, grimy, gruesome battle to pay off Jon's intense feud with Ramsay. The focus was on the characters, and the spectacle complemented that. Jon and Ramsay's armies were clashing around them to visualize their explosive emotions. But as the series went on, the spectacle overtook the characters. From Hard Home onwards, Game of Thrones got so focused on its blockbuster action spectacle that it lost the humanity and all the noise. But A Night of the Seven Kingdoms started on the absolute rock bottom ground level, following the mundane daily lives of a couple of seemingly insignificant characters. These characters feel like real people we care about, and it doesn't feel like anyone has plot armor, even Dunk. Dunk gets the shit kicked out of him from the second he walks onto the battlefield. He can't seem to stand up for more than 2 seconds before getting knocked back on his arse, and while he's trying to catch his breath, he gets smacked over the side of the head. You really feel the impact of every stab wound, every mace smash to the face. It feels like Saving Private Ryan. You get this blurry, traumatized, tunnel vision view of the visceral horrors on the battlefield. Like all great action sequences, it has its own internal story arc. Dunk goes through trials and tribulations, he reaches his all is lost moment, he sees a glimmer of hope that allows him to keep going, and he emerges triumphant. It's a masterclass in telling a story through action, on that primal Fury Road level.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
It was a wise move to put the climax in the penultimate episode, so the finale could explore the aftermath in depth. It's the same structural trick seen everywhere from Loki to Eastbound and Down. After the jaw-dropping action spectacle of episode 5, episode 6 boiled it back down to the story's essential elements. The themes of honor and legacy and the little guy trying to make a difference. And of course, the blossoming friendship between Dunk and Egg. The shot of Dunk and Egg sitting together on the bench after Egg has overheard Dunk saying he's done with princes reminded me of a similar shot from The Holdovers. It uses the framing and blocking to create visual distance between two people who are sitting right next to each other. They're sitting on the same bench, but emotionally they're a million miles apart. The scene where Egg takes a knife into Arian's bedroom was incredibly tense, and Dexter Sol Ansel nailed the dark, complicated emotions of the scene. He's determined, then he sees red, then he calms down, then he's shocked at how close he came to killing his own brother. They might as well give this kid his Emmy right now. The episode ends on Tennessee Ernie Ford's 16 Tons, which, to my recollection, is the first needle drop in Game of Thrones history. I don't remember them playing an AC/DC track over the Battle of Hard Home. But the Night of the Seven Kingdoms finale, or Night of the Nine Kingdoms as the final title card renames it, bows out with a licensed song.
You load the 16 ton, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store.
This country ballad about the plight of coal miners fits perfectly with the themes of the show. The song is all about the struggles of the 99%, the relentless rat race, the corporate servitude. I owe my soul to the company store. Dunk is the Westeros Knight version of those blue-collar workers. It hammers home what a radically different perspective of this world we've gotten in this show. 6 weeks ago, when A Night of the Seven Kingdoms first premiered, I didn't think the show that began with a man shitting out his guts on camera would eventually get me to shed a tear. But that's exactly what happened when Egg reunited with Dunk and they rode off into the sunset with Sir Arlen's ghost doing a Paul Walker.
I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
It warmed my heart to see Egg reunite with Dunk and take his rightful place as his squire. It was the perfect ending to the story the series has been telling, but it's not quite done yet. There's a final stinger, a final punchline. Egg told Dunk that his dad had sent him to be his squire, but in the final scene we see that he's run away again and his dad has no idea where he is. It's a hilarious payoff. The little shit did it again, and it ends this subversively comedic Game of Thrones series on one of its biggest laughs yet. I can't believe how great this show turned out to be. After the disappointing ending of Game of Thrones and the lame second season of House of the Dragon, I was just about ready to give up on this franchise. And now that I've met Duncan Egg, I'm more interested in Game of Thrones than I've ever been. I bought the books, for God's sake.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
I'm more engaged with this story and more invested in these two characters than I've ever been with any of these shows. Season 2 can't come soon enough.
But I want it now!
Wiener, 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 wiener.
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video. Remember to like and subscribe and click on the little bell. And also seize the day and call your mom and be kind to yourself.
Wiener, 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 two wieners alongside yet another wiener party, wiener party, party, wiener wieners nice and soft, non-erect wieners, flopping wieners.